It is the
Very good.
17th of January. This is Rabbi First Mishna Berura.
Right. Good morning, as no sin, this is Rabbi Shlomo First Yeshiva Samanashi here. Yerushalayim Kiryat Zun. This is our second shir this morning, learning Mishna Berura, Hilchos Kriyas Torah. You have your Mishna Berura there.
One second, Rabbi. Give me the first several.
I have your file.
Okay, sorry about that.
Right.
We're having a lot of trouble with the doctor, so my wife is helping me.
Okay. He's not being a good patient, huh?
No, the doctor's not being cooperative.
Oh, really?
We're trying to get a letter from him for the trip. Oh, did I tell you I'm going on a trip next week?
No, I didn't hear
Oh,
that. No.
Baruch Hashem. I'm glad I remember to tell you. Yeah, we're going in Mitzvah Hashem, we're going skiing, we're going to France.
Okay.
So we'll be gone, we'll be leaving Sunday morning and we'll be coming back Thursday night. So in Mitzvah Hashem, I'll be in class on Friday.
Oh, okay. Very good.
And I'm trying to get a letter from the doctor to the insurance company because I can get travel insurance, and he wouldn't write it. All he would say is I'm okay to fly, but I wanted him to say that I have these medical conditions and they're all under control, and he wouldn't say that. So that's a problem. And then I'm also trying to schedule cataract surgery, and they need all kinds of Hitayvut and Hafnia and some tests and a letter from the doctor. And the doctor was, he finally gave me the letter, but he made me go to the cardiologist before he would give me the letter so the cardiologist could say it was okay. It's been a real balagan.
Wow. All right. Hopefully it gets cleared up. All right. So you'll be leaving. You said which day you'll be leaving again?
Sunday morning early.
Okay. Very good. All right. So if you like, we can begin. We're in the Kuf Mem Aleph.
Kuf Mem Aleph. Okay, I see it.
Okay. Yeah, you can begin. Dine Korah Makra, the laws which are relevant to the one who's reading from the Torah and the one who's calling out from the Torah.
Okay. You know what I would like to request after we finish with this topic, if you're interested, would be maybe the laws of the davening itself. In particular, I get confused about the Kaddishes. There's so many different Kaddishes. There's Kaddish Rabbanan and Kaddish Yasam, and when they come up and who says them. Because I'm saying Kaddish for my brother, and quite often I miss it. I'm just not aware of what's going on. So you want to tackle that at some point, that would be interesting to me.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't the Mishna Berura that's in those laws in the Mishna Berura sort of scattered around, but there are a few places where you could look to see. I mean, I could just give you some basic pointers. There are basically 4 or 5 places where in the morning davening where the Kaddish is said that you would be saying that. There are some others which you don't say, but
right,
about 4 or 5 places. So
yeah, okay, well that would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, we can do that now. I mean, it's just you and me, so we don't, that's okay with me.
If you're prepared, then sure, that'd be great.
Yeah, basically, let's see, which city, first of all, which city you usually take with you to daven?
I have an interlinear It's this art scroll. Weekday
Okay.
interlinear.
Okay.
I can take the standard art scroll if if that would help. That would
No, I
make it
mean,
easier.
no, it's basically, if that's the one you use, it's best if you just mark off which ones you need to do there.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's good.
So, there in the morning davening, so you have at the beginning, before Psukkah Dezimra, there are two, in general, there are, depending on your minyan, but in general, there are two Kaddishim before the beginning of Psukkah Dezimra.
Okay, I see the beginning of Psukkah Zimmer, Book Shamar.
Okay, so if you go back a page or two, you should come to, there should be a page, Mizmor Shir Hanukkah Sabayis, the David.
Yes, I see that.
Okay, and if you go back a page or two, you should see there's Rabbi Yishmael Omer.
I see that.
So at the end of the Rabbi Yishmael Omer,
Yes,
right,
that's
you
one with
have
all the letters in parentheses.
well, I'm not using the same edition as you have, so I'm not sure about the things in parentheses.
Okay,
Let's see, at the end, you've got the end of the Rabbi Yishmael Omer. So there should be what's called a Kaddish de Rabbanan.
Rabbi's Kaddish to Rabbanan. Yes, I see it.
That's it, the Rabbi's Kaddish. Right. So there, that's a little bit of a that's not exactly the standard Kaddish Yosem, but the Yosemim also say that. So that's the first Kaddish which is mentioned in the davening.
Okay,
And that's
so
a little
that's
bit
before
long.
Psukkah Zimra.
Right, that's true. That's before Psukkah Zimra.
So I'm listening for the word kadmonios.
Right.
Okay.
Who's usually leading the davening over there?
I don't know the people too well.
Mhm.
I don't know his name.
Okay, yeah, no, it's not the name, but there's usually somebody who's in charge who's
Usually it's the same guy that leads. Not
right,
always, but usually it's the same guy. And I sit
right.
behind him. Um,
Oh,
I believe he speaks English. I'm not sure.
okay, okay. So yeah, so you should be listening to that last short paragraph just before the Kaddish is said, Kadmiyos, and then that begins the Kaddish, the Rabbanan.
Now, do all the mourners say that, or just one person?
The mourners say that it's not necessary for them to say that, right?
I'm sorry, it's not necessary for what?
It's not necessary for the mourners to say that. They can if they want, but it's not necessary, right?
Okay.
So the first one that you really want to be saying is the one after the Mizmor, right after that Kaddish is the Mizmor Shir Hanukkah Sabayis LeDavid.
Right. That ends with Odecha.
Right, right. So that's where you begin a Kaddish there.
Right. That's a regular Kaddish.
Right. That's the Kaddish. That's a Kaddish Yosem.
Right. Yasam means mourner, right?
Right. It should say mourner's Kaddish there, right?
Right.
So that starts the first Kaddish Yosem.
So that's
And,
right before the Psukkah de Zimra.
right, because after that Kaddish you begin Baruch Shoma.
So sometimes they start with Psukkah de Zimra. Does that mean they skipped these two Kaddishim?
Yeah, they may skip it. I mean, they shouldn't be skipping them. Someone should say them. I mean,
Because in the shul that I go to, they have a learning,
right.
and then the learning finishes and there's a Kaddish then.
Okay,
I assume that's the Kaddish for the learning, not one of these two.
right, that's should be the one only for the learning, right? Unless they say the Rabbi Omer after the learning, but that's not normally what's done. Usually it's a completely separate.
So I wouldn't participate in that.
No, I mean, don't have to. I mean, I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure which Kaddish they're saying. If it's a Kaddish Yosem, do more than one people say the Kaddish there?
I don't think so.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
think
so
I think one person says it. I'll have to pay more attention.
Right. Yeah, so you could leave that alone. You could leave that one alone. That you don't need, it's not necessary for you to participate in that one.
Okay, so after that, if he starts with the morning blessings,
Right.
then I just gotta wait until he gets to Kadmonios and then to Odeka and say
Right,
the
I mean,
two Kaddishes.
right. You could talk to him and say that, you're saying Kaddish, that if he should give you a signal, when he gets to say it, then you could join in with it.
Right. Yeah, okay, so I should talk to that. I should get there early and talk to that guy for a minute.
Yeah, well, I don't know, he usually sticks around after davening. You could catch him maybe sometimes after the davening.
No, usually I have to run out in order to get to the shir because the davening usually ends pretty close to 9 o'clock.
Ah, okay, I understand. Okay. Um, yeah, so if you have to run out, or just if you can get his phone number, then call him on, ask him to call him on the phone sometime,
Yeah, that's a good point.
then you can just talk to him without a rush. So those are the basic first two, right? You've got your Rabbi Yishmael Omer, and that's a Kaddish Durabanan. And then the Kaddish after the Mizmor Shir Hanukkah Sabai, which is just before Baruch Shomer.
Right.
Right. So after after you say that Kaddish and then you start Psukazim with Baruch Shomer, so then there's another Kaddish way at the end of the Psukei Zimra after Yishtabach. When you have Yishtabach.
Okay, I see Yishtabach.
Right. So there that's the Kaddish that said, but that's the one who's leading the davening. He's the only one that says that.
Right. Yeah, it says the Chazan recites.
Exactly.
Chetzi Kaddish, half Kaddish.
Right. That's a Chetzi Kaddish, right? So then there's really not any other Kaddishim. Well, if there's Kriyas Torah, there's a Kaddish Kriyas Torah.
All right, let's see where that is. Shacharis. Okay. Tachnan. Okay, here's the reading of the Torah. Dosa Torah. The returning the Torah. And then we have Ashrei. Lamanatseach. Valtzion. And then we have a Kaddish that says the Chassan recites full Kaddish.
Right.
So I don't say that either, correct?
Right. That's the one after the Ashrei Uval Etzion.
Right.
So that's something that the Chazan, he says that Kaddish. Then there's Aleinu L'Shabeach.
Right.
So then there's a Kaddish Yosem after that. That's when you say.
Okay, so that's after Aleinu.
Right. And then after the Aleinu, right, that's the one you say there. And then there's then after Aleinu, there's the Mizmor Shir, the Shir Shel Yom, excuse me, the Shir Shel Yom.
Right, one for each day.
Now there's a Kaddish after the Shir Shel Yom.
Okay, and it says go back. You go back to the one and say it's the same one as you say after Elenu. Right?
Right.
Okay, because my book says go back to that page and say it.
Yeah, they were cheap. They didn't want to print another 20 lines.
Right. Okay. And then the David we say only during certain seasons, but there's a Kaddish after that also, right?
Right, the David, yeah, that now. That art scroll that you're using, there's probably a sitter from Chutz La'aretz, so they don't have the Ein Kelokenu. The Ein Kelokenu is said in Eretz Yisrael, or in most places, most Minyanim have a Kaddish after Ein Kelokenu, which, I mean, that's why it's not printed there in your sitter, because that's a sitter that's primarily used in Chutz La'aretz.
So where does the Ein Kelokenu come in after the Kaddish? That's after the daily.
Right.
Okay. So in other words, I'm going to write down here Ein Kelokenu. And then Kaddish.
Right, and that's a Kaddish D'Rabbanan, right?
Oh, it's not the same one. It's the Kaddish D'Rabbanan.
Right, so that's probably the one you're probably getting caught up and not catching up with, because if it's not in your city, you're probably not aware that they're saying they ain't Kelokenu.
Yeah. So I've got to jump to the beginning of the book for that,
Right.
where I have the first Kaddish, which is the Rabbanan. So I got to go to page 69. Page 69. Okay, yeah, I think that's probably the one that is happening, and I'm like, well, what are they doing? Okay,
Right.
so and then there's the one. I think the one after the Torah reading I also was missing. Let's see, that's after Elenu. No, there's none after the Torah reading. Oh, the Torah reading is the Chazan.
Right.
The one after Elenu I know about.
Right.
Okay, so it sounds like there's like 6 of them.
Basically.
Okay, well that's helpful.
Very good. Okay. Again, yeah, if you can get hold of the fellow who usually is leading the davening there and coordinate with him, that'll make it a little bit easier for you.
Yeah. I'm putting bookmarks in here, so I'll know where they are.
Very good. And what about by Minchen Meyer?
Okay, so that's a good point. Mincha, I believe there's only one, right?
Right, it's the one
At the end.
Right, at the end, after Elenu. By Mincha you have Elenu.
Yeah, so after Tachanun, there's a Kaddish that the Chassan says.
That's right.
Okay. And then Elenu. Then after Elenu, there's a mourner's Kaddish.
Right.
And we don't say Al Tira.
That's the 2 or 3 lines there.
Yeah. After Elenu.
Yeah, I mean, people might say it individually, but it's not said as a congregational thing.
Right.
People,
Right.
I know people do, individuals do say it.
Oh, you know what? What about Baruch Hu es Ad Hashem Hamavarach?
Right,
They say that sometimes here. I think they say that in Israel, but not in America.
right. That's something which is usually said in Israel. Now that's not said on the days you read the Torah, meaning on Mondays and Thursdays. That's not said.
Okay.
Um, the usually usually the person who's leading the davening will say that.
Oh, really? I have found that the person who says the Kaddish says it.
Uh,
I'm not sure which Kaddish you're supposed to say it after.
okay, that's the one at the very end of the davening, right? It's said by Shachris and Ma'ariv, Mincha by Shachris and by Ma'ariv at the end of the davening, right? You have the Baruch Hu. Now, it depends who's davening and why he's davening. If the person who's davening is a yosem, meaning he's davening from the Amud because he's in leading the service because he's in mourning for his, usually in general for his parents, the first 11 to 12 months, right?
Right.
So then he'll usually say the Baruch at the end of the davening.
Right. Right. And only one person says it.
Right. Yeah, it's one person to say that. Correct.
So if I want, I could probably just not say anything. Somebody else will say it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. So that in general, I mean, it's always dependent on who's davening and why they're davening. Sometimes they're davening, as I said, because they're taking the Amid for the parents.
Right. And that takes
and
precedence.
Yeah. Right. They'll be the one to be saying it in
Yeah.
general.
Okay. And Mariv also, I think it's just at the end, correct?
Right. You say the Baruch at the end of the Mariv davening.
That's also after Aleinu.
Yep. Exactly.
And also we don't say Al Tira.
Right.
Okay. So this is just a regular Kaddish. Okay. All right. And then there's Shabbos, Shachris.
Yeah. So the Shabbos davening. So, yeah. So you go to the beginning of the Shabbos davening there.
I got to get my other sitter.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Here's our situation. You're in class?
I'm still in class.
Oh, January.
I'll get you in 8 minutes. Okay. This is a very similar book. It's also interlinear, also from America.
Right. Very good.
All right, so Chakris. Okay, we have the morning blessings. And we go to Sukkot de Zimra. Okay, we do the same thing. We have no, I'm sorry, it's Ezahu Mikoman.
Right. That's and then the Rabbi Yishmael is at the end of that section.
Okay. Yeah, Rabbi Yishmael, I see him. Okay. Okay. And then there's a Rabbi's Kaddish.
Right.
You say that. Okay, and then after that, there is Mizmor Shir Chanukas Abayis, and then there's a Kaddish Yasam.
Right.
Let me say that. Okay. And then let's see, at the end of Sukkot Zimra, which is very long. Okay, so after Yishtabach, we have the Chazan says Kaddish. I don't say anything.
Right, because that's up to that's the Chazan's job over there.
Okay, so then we have the regular Shema davening. And that leads to the Shemona Esrei. And then after the Shemona Esrei, we have a Kaddish, Chazan, just the Chazan.
Right.
Then we have the Torah. And now there's a Kaddish for the Chazan again, half Kaddish, in the middle of the Torah reading.
Right.
Or no, after the Torah reading. Before Hagba. Okay, so I don't say anything then. Okay, then we have the new month. We have Ashrei. Returning the Torah. And then Shemona Esrei. There's Musaf. There's no Kaddish here.
Right.
Oh no, there is. There's the Chazan Kaddish. Right before Musaf. But I don't say anything.
That's the shots. That's the Shots' job, right?
Right. You call them the shots?
Shots. Shli. That's short for Shliach Tzibur.
Shliach Tzibur. Okay. All right. So then the end of Musaf, there's a Kaddish again. Chazan. No, this is not Kaddish. This is not Kaddish. This is something else. Okay. So then we have the rabbi's Kaddish after Amar Rabbi Eliezer. I'm sorry, Elazar, Rabbi Elazar. It ends with Bashalom.
Right. Okay. So that's a Kaddish. That's a Kaddish to Rabbanan.
Right, and that's for me. That's for
Right.
Okay.
That's right. That's for you, right?
So let's see, that's where is that? That is, we finished the Torah reading. We finished Musaf. Okay, we finished Musaf and we didn't do Helenu yet. Helenu is next. Okay, so it's in between Musaf and Helenu. It's a rabbi's Kaddish.
Correct.
That's one I think that I've been missing. Okay, so that's that. And then we go to Helenu, and after Helenu, there's a regular Kaddish, Kiddush Yasam.
Right.
And I say that. Then there's the Song of Glory. And it says, if a mourner is present, he goes back and says that same Kiddush Yasam.
Right. But since for you, that's for your that would be not for you under these circumstances. That would be someone like for a father or a mother.
Ah, okay. So I don't say that. Excuse me a second.
Sure.
Hello? Hello? Hello, do you speak English? Pardon? Yes. Yes. Right. Yes. 7:30. Okay, thank you for the reminder. Bye-bye. Sorry, Rabbi.
Everything okay?
Yeah, that was just reminding me that I have to go for my pre-op eyes for the eye surgery on Thursday.
Mm. When is your schedule? When is it scheduled, your surgery?
We're gonna schedule it at the pre-op,
Ah, okay.
so it'll probably be in the beginning of February.
Hmm.
And my understanding is that it's a very, very short recovery period. It's basically a 1 day a thing. I'll be laid up in Mitzvah Hashem for 1 day, and then I'll be back to normal.
All right, Be'ez Hashem. What is it for cataracts?
Cataract, yeah, it's replacing the lens. And I had it in the left eye in America,
Right.
and it was basically a 1 day deal. And
Okay.
when I have the pre-op, I'll ask him, but I'm presuming it'll be the same thing. I am a bit older now than I was then, so I don't know if that will affect it, but okay, so we're almost out of time. We're almost done too. So we said Lamanat Seach. We said after the Song of Glory. Wait a second. How did I get? My book turned pages on me. Okay. Okay. So we have the Mourner's Kaddish. How did I get to Mariv? Oh boy. I was in Shachris. And Shachris. Oh, because I'm in the wrong book. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so after the Song of the Day, okay, we had the Song of Glory. After the Song of Glory, there's a Kaddish, but I don't say it because it's for a parent, right?
Right.
Okay, then we have the Song of the Day. We go to Shabbos, and after that, it says, go say the Kaddish back here. Let's see, at 432. 432. So that's a Kiddush Yassim. Okay, so that I say.
Right.
Okay. And then after Le David, when we say Le David, also there's the Kaddish, the same Kiddush Yassim.
Right.
And that's it.
Yep.
And for Yom Tov, are there any differences? That Yom Tov is the same as Shabbos, basically?
Basically, that's about the same. Yeah, that's all about the same.
Okay. And we're not going to discuss Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. That davening is completely confusing to me. So
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah.
yeah, I usually try and focus on tshuva during that davening. I don't follow along too well with the congregation.
Right. Okay.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much. It's very helpful.
Yeah, very good. Very good. So, okay. So, I'll see you tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem, I guess.
Mitzvah Hashem, tomorrow my schedule is clear. Now on Thursday, I have my pre-op. It's at 7:30. I have no idea how long it's going to take. And it's just
Yeah.
right so it's about a half an hour drive. So I imagine I'll be late.
Okay, so we'll just continue on, Bez Hashem. We'll miss you though.
Thank you. I'll miss you too.
All
Okay.
right.
Have a good day.
Right, and you're working out getting that letter from the doctor for your insurance, for whatever it has to be done, it's gonna.
Oh, we had a big problem with that. Let me turn off the recording.
Yeah.
Everybody in the